This is the story of Cadillac, Michigan, a community committed to protecting public health by responsibly managing its industrial past. Since the 1990s, the City of Cadillac's Local Development Finance Authority, or LDFA, has successfully managed a massive, multi-decade cleanup of its industrial park, targeting legacy contaminants like volatile organic compounds and chromium. This diligent work has delivered clear results. The remediation for chromium has reached completion, with that contaminant now at non-detect levels in the treated water. The LDFA has drastically reduced discharge amounts, protecting local waterways for decades. However, cleanup for VOC contamination, which has substantially reduced VOC levels, remains ongoing and is expected to continue for another decade or two, thus requiring continued local LDFA funding. Then, a new environmental threat emerged: PFAS, the so-called forever chemicals. Unlike the previous defined contamination, PFAS was a new, until recently unregulated challenge. The issue arose when the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency requested PFAS testing in order to complete the chromium treatment portion of the cleanup. This request came just as the LDFA was trying to close out its work on chromium. The risk of potential multi-million-dollar costs for a new PFAS investigation would unfairly burden limited local funds designated for the original specific cleanup of chromium and VOCs. PFAS contamination was not the basis for creating and funding the LDFA. To make a responsible distinction, the LDFA sought legal advice. They formally clarified that their responsibility and the funds raised through local taxation should be limited to the chromium and VOC cleanup within the LDFA cleanup area. This was a clear, prudent position to wisely manage limited funds, maintaining a boundary and ensuring local dollars raised for one specific purpose were not immediately overwhelmed by an entirely new national crisis. Agreeing to test without this clarification, when no PFAS had been linked to the original sources causing the chromium and VOC contamination, could have been interpreted as the LDFA accepting full financial accountability for a problem outside its original mandate. This would have diverted critical funds from the ongoing VOC cleanup and potentially forced the city or its taxpayers to assume the costs for a costly and widespread issue. The LDFA simply clarified the limited purpose for which its funds were raised. This strategic clarification has coincided with the efforts of the State Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, or EGLE, and the Michigan PFAS Action Response Team, or MPART, to step in to look at the PFAS issue beyond the LDFA area. These state agencies are equipped to review the full extent of PFAS and determine which persons or entities may ultimately bear legal responsibility for investigation and cleanup. The clarity sought by the LDFA has helped focus current efforts on state and federal solutions. MPART, working separately with the city's utilities department, is providing immediate relief. Residents in some areas outside the LDFA cleanup area where PFAS has been detected have been connected to the clean municipal water supply or provided with free water filters. The city is also working to seek other funds for further expansion of its system to other PFAS-contaminated areas. This measured response is protecting the progress being made by the LDFA, safeguarded local funds, and ensured the health of its citizens remains the absolute priority. Despite the limitation of LDFA funding, the LDFA, where feasible, is agreeing to limited additional PFAS testing in the LDFA cleanup area and offering to continue limited extraction and treatment of PFAS-contaminated groundwater within a portion of the LDFA cleanup area, even though a source or cause of this contamination is not determined. The LDFA also has worked with the city to ensure that no water consumption and use will occur within the LDFA area, which is already subject to an ordinance restricting groundwater use and connection to the city's municipal water supply. Cadillac's experience demonstrates successfully managing legacy cleanup, followed by a prudent, responsible clarification of duties when facing a new crisis. Furthermore, the treated groundwater from the LDFA is verifiably clean, with PFAS detection significantly less than drinking water limits, securing a safe future for all residents.